Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of ABAP Explained. In today's episode, I wanted to show you how you can add the ABAP Development Tools to VS Code, to Visual Studio Code. It has been released a few weeks ago, so I wanted to give it a try, show you what's there, what's missing, and basically do a little review of it. I haven't been using it in my work, but just as from curiosity, I tried it out. So if you haven't got Visual Studio Code installed yet, of course do that. The basic link, I'm gonna give it in the description. And then on the left hand side, you can add some extensions. And as you can see, I have even already typed in ABAP Development Tools and choose the, or maybe it's not. It was there, I haven't seen it. Choose this one, so ABAP Development Tools for VS Code. As you can see, it's a very early version, 3 weeks ago published, so you shouldn't expect too much, I would say. It's version 1.0.1. Just click on install, make sure it's the official one from SAP. Install it. After you do so, it's very quick. It's gonna be installed, and as you can see, we've got some key features like SAP Joule, object type support, which only has classes, interfaces, CDS views, and some ABAP RESTful application programming model. So everything in a wrap. Too bad it's only that. It's nice that we're starting from somewhere, but it's a little bit, it's too little to work on everything in Visual Studio Code. But anyway, let me show you how you can connect to the system. So when working with Visual Studio Code, you of course got this command palette, which you can open by doing Ctrl-Shift-P, and Ctrl-Shift-P opens you the possibility to the functions, for example, with this ABAP package. And as you can see, we've got some. And if we want to connect to a new system, to existing system, you should choose ABAP, new destination. You can also type it in. And if you select it, it's going to ask you, do you want to use RFC or HTTP? As you can see, the RFC version is for private cloud and on-premise systems, where the HTTP is for BTP environments. So in my case, I'm using a local virtual machine, a server. So I'm using on-prem systems, selecting RFC. It's automatically picking up all my systems I've got configured. If I would go with the SAP Logon standard, as you can see, I also have got the system. So ABAP 752 is basically just the name of this connection. So it of course can be different in your system. I'm choosing this one. Then I need to add the username for this system, which for my case is developer. Enter, then adding the client, so in my case 001, and the login language, so basically English, German, or anything else, and then pressing enter. And then it's gonna ask for the name of the destination. This can be whatever you want. I'm just gonna go with the basic one. So the destination is the connection between VS Code and my server. So pressing enter, I have connected to the server. As you can see, there's no pop-up, so I theoretically don't know if I'm connected or if I'm not. But pressing Ctrl-Shift-A will enable me to open some objects. So Ctrl-Shift-A is asking me to select a destination. So what do you want to, which destination do you want to access? So I'm of course accessing this one that we have just created. And then it's gonna ask me for the password to my account. So I'm gonna type it, hopefully correct. And yeah, it surely has logged me in. And in this standard Visual Studio Code way, it's gonna ask me to type in the names of the objects I want to see. So I can type in whatever I want, for example ZCL, and to look for some things that are in the system. If you're gonna choose a domain, a program, or data element, and all of those things that are currently not supported, you can of course do it. So for example, let me check out this program, some kind of standard program. It's gonna say it's not supported in ADT. So at least there's a message. I cannot edit this report, so I would need to go to Logon, I would need to go to Eclipse with the ABAP Development Tools to use it. So too bad. It's definitely gonna be developed in future versions, but it's sadly not accessible right now. One more thing before I'm gonna show you how the class edit looks like or whatever. When you go let me try to Control Shift A. I'm not sure how I opened it before, but basically there's going to be a file where the destination is saved, but it doesn't really matter. So if you go with Control Shift P, opening the command palette, you can actually manage your workspace, because now I can of course open some objects, but you don't have the tree on the left, so it's very hard to go through different objects and so on. So if you do Control Shift P, you can then select add package as folder to workspace. So for example, I'm gonna use the TMP package with it temporary package, the standard package where you put all of your local development. And if I'm choosing it, it's gonna ask me to which destination I want to connect it. I'm just pressing enter. It's gonna give me the name, and on the left hand side you're gonna see it. Now if you try to use it, I mean, I'm not sure if it's, what does it want from me? Unable to resolve a non-existent file. Okay, I'm not sure, guys. Let me try it and open one object from, or maybe let's do it this way. Let's open the SAP Logon. Maybe I'm missing the names. Maybe I don't have any local development. I have opened the Logon now here, and let's go to SE80. The thing is, you cannot jump to transactions here in Visual Studio Code. You cannot see it the same way. It's pretty hard to use, right? So let me check out my local temporary package, $TMP. So there sure are some things, even classes, which should work. So let me go and I will copy this name and go Control Shift P, open object. Oh, it wants me to ask for the destination. So once again, okay, it wants me to log in again. Let's do that. Okay, and now, okay, I wasn't logged in. So maybe there was a bug that didn't allow me to open any object. So now I can, of course, type in the class I want to select, and it's gonna open the class that is also visible like in Logon standard way. You can see it's very big, and we've got everything we want here. And surely on the left hand side the tree is opened. So a little troubles there, but I believe that's just my bad because I haven't too much experience. So you can go through this file, and you can of course edit it if it's a non-standard development. If I'm trying to, I believe it's not standard, so I do some changes, then you can see that here it's got that it's currently in status locked. The L says it's locked. If I go Control F3, it's gonna be firstly inactive. Let me try again. Okay, it says I'm currently editing it. If I try to close the Logon, okay, now it's active. So my changes have been saved. I'm not sure, guys. It's not perfect. at the very least, I'm happy it's happening, that it's gone this way, that we have now the tools in Visual Studio Code and that we can use it. I don't see the point of it currently in this version, so I would say it's a very, very alpha or pre-alpha version. It's great that we can connect to it, at least to this on-premise server that I tried here. We can browse through all of the different classes. Of course, I haven't shown all of the possibilities that are here. You can edit core data services. As I heard, you cannot open them, like open up the view. There's quite much things missing, right? You've got the ABAP debugger, where you can debug the class and so on, but still, even without the reports, the other stuff, it's not too much, right? But to that, you of course got the documentation. So let me just open it and show you. Here, of course, you can read all of the informations about it and how to get started. So basically what I said in this video, but you can read it. And I'm sure about it that it's gonna grow. It's gonna have much more things to it in the coming months, maybe years, probably years. So if there's gonna be anything exciting that's gonna come to that version, to this extension, I definitely gonna show you it. I'm not gonna go through the ABAP test cockpit, unit tests. I bet it's great, but you know, guys, you cannot only work with only classes and CDS views, right? If I'm gonna need to jump through systems to the Logon or maybe Eclipse even to do stuff, I'm not gonna be too happy with that. I agree with the ratings. I have read them, that there's just too much stuff missing, right? As I said, probably there's gonna come much to it. I disagree with all the comments that are hating on that, because that makes totally no sense. I'm happy that something is happening, that it's going to released. Maybe they should have waited, I don't know, 1 year more to develop a bit more, but at least it's the alpha version. We can try it out. Maybe there was they wanted to do this as an important announcement on some conference or something like that. So let's just stay tuned, see what's coming, and if you want to use it, now you know how. If you want to use it for editing classes and so on, it should handle transports as well, which I haven't really tested, but I believe them. Check this out. I'm gonna give you the links to the extension and to Visual Studio Code itself, but probably if you don't even know what Visual Studio Code is, you won't use it. So yeah. Do I recommend it? I'm not sure, guys. I think there's too much missing. I'm not using it myself, so maybe stay for a few future versions, and let's check it out back then. Apart from that, thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like, a subscription, and your thoughts in the comments. What's your experience? Are you happy about it? Are you angry about it that it's not a full version? Let me know, and I'll see you in the next episode.